Welcome to the Headley Highlight Show's Headley Headspaces. The Headspaces are a series of thoughts and musings I have during the course of the week, and I chew all over them, and then I bring them to you. And this week's Headspace is called Oleaginous Starmer, oozing back into the European Union's creases. Now, before I jump into the Headspace, let me first say thank you to all of my new subscribers. I now have 1,061. Yes, people, it's just moving really exponentially. I'm so pleased about it. But if you haven't heard of my channel, please do jump up into it, which is called DeniseHeadley.com on YouTube. And that's also the same name as my website, which is DeniseHeadley.com. And if you use any, search engine, you'll get there. And there, you may wish to purchase for me because you absolutely love this content. You might want to say to yourself, look, I want to reward her with 3 wings and chips and a Miranda. Or you might say, I want to go further and extend to rice, peas, chicken, callaloo, a patty, cake, scabeach, a piece of tilapia, lobster maybe if it's a Friday. You might want to do all of that because you're just so enthused by this content, and you can do that if you so choose at my website, which is called DeniseHeadley.com. The Headspaces are part of my Friday night live political talk show that is held on X every Friday at 8 p.m. GMT, 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and you are most welcome to attend. Do like, retweet, share and comment, and also come back next week. Now I've done that preamble, let me jump back into this Headspace. Oleaginous Starmer, oozing back into the European Union's creases. Oleaginous is not a word one gets to use on a regular basis. Alexa, give me a definition of the word oleaginous.
The adjective oleaginous is usually defined as having the nature or qualities of oil. For more, ask me to give you more definitions for oleaginous.
Alexa, give me more definitions of oleaginous.
I have 3 more definitions for the adjective oleaginous. 1. Containing oil. 2. Producing oil. 3. Unctuous, fawning, smarmy.
That last line, unctuous, fawning and smarmy, perfectly encapsulate the way Keir Starmer and his government do governing. Nothing is up front. It's always smoke and mirrors as opposed to being direct. This is a clear step of taking Britain back into the European Union. Just because it's framed as some sort of slap against Trump doesn't dissolve what's taken place. And what's taken place is on the 19th of May, there's going to be an EU summit, and there the UK and the EU will be signing a new declaration of strategic partnership. Now, I don't recall the conversation taking place in Parliament about closer integration into Europe. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, we did the whole Brexit exercise, did we not? So why then is Keir Starmer on the sly in an oleaginous, slippery, fawning, smarmy, smug fashion, having meetings with Ursula von der Leyen, talking about strategic alliances and reaffirming values and trade? And I can tell you why he's doing that. Because Keir Starmer's only function as PM is to ensure that the military machine keeps moving everywhere in the world where we sell weapons to, and also to take us back into Europe. Because if you look at what's happening globally, those structures are crumbling. And as we Brexited, we removed ourselves from that structure. Similar moves are being taken in other parts of Europe and also in Africa. But the important part of this article is the fact that the left-leaning Guardian tries to make the reader think that this is a strategic move to support Ukraine and to support defiance of Trump because of his moves around tariffs. This is the consumerable narrative that's being peddled to the public so that they accept a slow oozing creep back into the creases of the European Union community and family. At no point in the article was there the question raised or even discussed that we have already Brexited. That was just kind of, it wasn't really featured or, raised in a significant way. And the article was just reporting it in the sense that these are the facts. Well, they aren't actually the facts. The facts are we Brexited. So why is the Keir Starmer seeking to have closer integration into Europe when we are no longer part of that? Because that's his raison d'etre, people. He's not here for, socialism, uplifting the poor people in this country, addressing questions of inequity. That's not his brief, people. You've been hoodwinked if you think that's the case. Why is Keir Starmer going to be on the 19th of May? Enhancing trade ties and strengthening security positions in relation to global issues. What happened to the special relationship with America? Part of the reason is because Britain wants to be able to access the £150 billion Security Action for Europe Defence Fund. Yes, people, the UK wants to start drinking from the European coffers once again. Financially, of course. We also have Yvette Cooper considering a one-in, one-out youth policy, which effectively is the rehashing of Erasmus. Don't get me wrong, these schemes were great, but we've left the European Union. We can't now take advantage of things in a bespoke, slightly Norwegian fashion. So we get a Norwegian deal, but we don't call it that. We're saying it's because, we're uniting against Trump. No, that's not the issue. The fact is we are reintegrating back into the European program. And it's being done on the sly, in a smarmy, fawning, smug manner. Very much in tune with this government's style of activity. Hence my description of Starmer as oleaginous, producing oil, sebaceous, greasy, slippery. That seems to be his signature with most things. I'm sure this deal will be giving excellent fishing rights returning to those French ships that don't have those rights anymore. That's going to go down exceptionally well on Talk TV. In my opinion, this is an indication that the UK and Europe have very much lost their place on the strategic importance board of the world and geopolitics. They just appear to be talking to themselves, Trump still has not met von der Leyen, and despite meetings with Keir Starmer, the peace is still looking pretty far in the distance for the Ukraine, that is. So I think this move is about trying to bolster the position of the European Union, and also about Keir Starmer sliding his way back into the creases of Europe, but doing it in a way which is kind of underhand, which to me is so indicative of him and his fake Clark Kent glasses. So what do you think? What's your thoughts on this? Did you even know that we were signing a strategic partnership with Europe so that we have shared values? And we can, the UK can tap into the defense spending so that we can buy more bombs and, presumably blow up lots of people in pursuit of democratic values, which are somewhat nebulous these days. So what's your thoughts? What's your 2 pence, your 3 cedis, or your declining dollar price on Oleaginous Starmer? And by the way, that's a great word to use if you do not want to have any wrinkles around your face. It takes a lot of work with the mouth and the jaw. Oleaginous, it's just like a facial workout. Jump up into the podium, come up and be a speaker. Don't be shy, or you'll just hear me all night and it will be a complete monologue. And how boring will that be, darlings? So please do so. And also don't forget, please subscribe, make a donation, and of course, come back next week. And thank you for your listening ear. And cut.